okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good, okay. All right, I call the New Jersey Water Supply Authority December board meeting to order. Ms. Hunt, can you read the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting, including the time, date, and location, has been published in designated newspapers. Notice and the agenda of this meeting, as well as Microsoft Teams and call-in information, have also been provided on the authority's website and are posted in a prominent location in the authority's headquarters.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brooks, can you do the roll call?
Yes, Acting Chair Domber,
Here.
Commissioner Blue,
Here.
Commissioner Havens,
Here.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Here.
Commissioner Pico.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We'll now act on the November 4th minutes. Are there any comments on the November 4th minutes? If none, I'd entertain a motion to approve in a second.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have approval in a second. Mr. Brooks, roll call vote?
Yes, Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
Yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brooks, do you have the executive director's report?
Yes, good afternoon. You all have a copy of my report. The governor declared a drought warning on November 13th after the driest 2-month period ever recorded in New Jersey for September and October. Immediate impacts from the drought declaration changed the minimum passing flows in the Raritan and Manasquan rivers. This allows staff to take more or release less water from the rivers, depending on the circumstances. We have been coordinating with the DEP and our customers, particularly in Manasquan system, to do all we can to maximize storage in the regions. In Clinton, November precipitation was 3.23 inches, which is still a half inch below or 0.46 inches below average. As of this morning, the combined storage for Round Valley and Spruce Run was 80.2% of capacity. That compared to a combined historic average of 88.2% for that date. Separately, Spruce Run was very low at 32.2%, rebounding slightly from its record low set on November 18th, when it was 25 feet below full pool at 31.3% capacity. Offsetting that at Round Valley, however, which is a much larger capacity, its capacity is at 89.8%, which is why the combined storage is as high as it is. In Manasquan, November rainfall was 2.6 inches. Average rainfall for November is 3.56, so we're still considerably below average there. The Manasquan reservoir capacity this morning was 2.37 billion gallons, which is 50.7% capacity. We were able to pump a decent amount to the reservoir over the weekend after the Thanksgiving rain and the week before, but as of this morning, we are releasing from the reservoir again, although modestly. The reservoir capacity is a slight improvement from its new record low, which was set on November 20th, where the reservoir was down at 49% capacity. The 2 rainstorms did not put as much of a dent in storage levels as would typically be expected from the amounts of rain received in Manasquan or Raritan for that matter. I would contribute that back to the extraordinary dryness in the region. Much of the rainfall soaked into the moisture-starved vegetation. Hopefully, future rains will have more of an impact on storage levels, although the 10-day forecast is not promising at the moment. On the morning of Tuesday, October 22nd, authority staff observed a significant algal bloom at the Manasquan Reservoir surrounding the intake tower. Through an emergency procurement, staff procured the services of a contractor to treat the reservoir with chelated copper. The chelated copper product was preferred because it provides extended release of active ingredient, resulting in longer-term benefit. It is more effective with current water quality conditions at the Manasquan Reservoir, including pH, alkalinity, and the organic load. Treatment was performed on October 29th, and it appears as of this date to have been very successful. A resolution will be presented later today to ratify my actions in executing this emergency procurement. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Any questions for Mr. Brooks? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 6. Mr. Brooks, do you have any communications or correspondence that you need to report out?
I didn't put anything in the agenda package. I had a lot of inquiries from journalists and reporters. I didn't see articles. I did see more than one video online, and that everything I did see was accurate. So that's all.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 7, unfinished business, Manasquan system report.
Paul
Is that
McKeon.
Paul?
Yes, good afternoon. I don't have too much more to add from what Mark said. He gave you the rainfall for the month and our reservoir level. Again, because it's been so dry, the rain didn't really make the river hang in there that much that we were able to pump for a lot of days. So it was just short and sweet. But we're hoping for some more rain. The treatment plant ran well through those rain events. We obviously were pumping and didn't switch the plant to reservoir water, so that was a good thing. And there was no operational anomalies at the water plant in the past month, so it's been good. Just looking for some more rain.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the Raritan system.
Steve Gates.
Good afternoon. So as Mark had alluded to, we've gotten some rain over the past few weeks that has allowed us to reduce our releases, at least for the short term, to a total combined release of 30 MGD today, down from the 59 MGD that was presented in the report. November rainfall totals are near the historic average, but we're still 7.72 inches below the average for the period from June 1st through today. So we are still in a bit of a deficit. Spruce Run release was reduced to 5 MGD on November 27th in anticipation of the rain forecast to hit the area in the early morning hours of Thanksgiving Day. This remained in effect until yesterday, December 1st, when falling river flows resulted in the release being increased to 30 MGD. The 2.88 inches of rain received from November 21st through today has resulted in the reservoir level at Spruce Run recovering nearly half a foot and roughly 1% capacity from the data presented in the written report. This is all while maintaining reduced releases that were a result of the drought condition and associated administrative order. Spruce Run is currently down 24 feet from full pool elevation to elevation 248.44 and 32.2% storage capacity. Releases from Round Valley Reservoir were suspended on November 21st. They're still currently at 0, and the pool is down 7.61 feet to elevation 377.39 and 89.8% capacity. We expect the HAB season has concluded, but we do still plan to meet regularly with NJDEP and the various water users along the Canal, Millstone, and Raritan rivers. Canal operations are currently normal, with staff focusing primarily on water supply operations and leaf cleanup. And for the Spruce Run Administration Building fuel oil underground storage tank, we received bids on November 13th, and we will be presenting a resolution to award later in the meeting. For capital project updates, Spruce Run Dam Foundation grouting project bids were received. And the Capital Projects Committee was briefed on the results, and a resolution to award will be presented later in the meeting as well. The South Branch Pump Station traveling water screen replacement contractor has mobilized a crane to the site and has removed the majority of the existing traveling water screen equipment. Their look-ahead schedule shows installation of new screens beginning this Wednesday, December 4th. Finally, there is one change order presented in my report that I can answer any questions about. But other than that, that's all I have today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, move on to watershed management.
Ken Clipstein?
I don't have much to add to my report except to say the colder weather has diminished cyanobacteria populations across our source water areas. Everybody else has said the quantity remains the greater concern at this point. Watershed staff did increase cyanotoxin and algal monitoring of the Manasquan Reservoir following the October 30th chelated copper algicide treatment. I'm happy to report no cyanotoxins have been detected above the laboratory method reporting limits. In situ vertical profile monitoring has also indicated a decrease in algal activity in the weeks following the treatment. So that's my good news report.
All right, thank you. All right, hearing no other questions, we'll move on to agenda item number 8. We have several resolutions to go through. First one, a resolution authorizing the award of a contract for the refurbishing of a single-stage vertical pump located at the water treatment plant of the Manasquan Water Supply System, Wall Township, Monmouth County, New Jersey, WSA C25017M. Mr. Brooks.
Yep, Paul McKeon's going to present that.
Good afternoon again. Yes, our staff identified the need for replacing a pump assembly on filtered water pump one of the 3 filtered water pumps at the treatment plant. The pump is worn and not delivering its rated capacity. We advertised in the newspapers on October 4th and posted to our website, and we received 3 bids, one for $36,000 approximately, another $94,400, and another $135,000. We reviewed the bids. 2 of them were not considered legally responsive, so only the bid from Longo for $94,400 was reviewed further, but it does meet the specifications for pressure, flow, and efficiency rating we are wanting to get out of this new pump. Our engineer's estimate was a little bit lower, $52,000, but we're comfortable with this price and would request that you approve awarding the bid to them, to Longo Electric, and an appropriate resolution has been prepared for your consideration.
Do we have any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve in a second.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Brooks, can you call the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes,
Commissioner Havens,
I'll mute.
Sorry. Yes, sorry.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Second resolution, a resolution authorizing the award of construction contract WSA B25019 for removal of an existing 5,000-gallon heating oil underground storage tank, UST, at the Spruce Run Administration Building in Clinton Township, Hunterdon County, New Jersey. Mr.
Yes,
Brooks?
Steve Gates providing background.
So as you may recall, we have a 5,000-gallon underground storage tank in the courtyard at the Spruce Run Administration Building, for which NJDEP issued an administrative consent order to close. The tank shows no signs of leakage, but did fail a routine cathodic protection test. Staff has already procured a licensed site remediation professional who has submitted the intent to close for the tank ahead of the December 31st deadline in the administrative consent order compliance schedule. Plans and specifications for the UST removal were concurrently prepared by authority staff and reviewed by the LSRP. Advertisements for bids were published in local papers on October 22nd and 24th, and also advertised on the authority's website and the New Jersey Business Opportunities website. There was no mandatory pre-bid meeting and one addendum was issued on November 4th. 5 bids were received and opened at a public bid opening on November 13th, with prices ranging from the low bid of $114,250 to a high bid of $155,740. The low bid received from Ambient Group LLC of Williamstown, New Jersey, was found to be legally and technically responsive and below authority staff's engineering estimate of $150,000. The Ambient Group is a NJDEP certified UST contractor, and authority staff recommend the award of a construction contract to the Ambient Group LLC of Williamstown, New Jersey, for a total lump sum and allowance cost not to exceed $114,250. As you may know, our bylaws state that all change orders over $25,000 require full board approval, while change orders under $25,000 can be approved by the Capital Projects Committee Chair. Staff requests in this resolution for this project specifically to increase the threshold from $25,000 to $75,000 with the concurrence of the entire Capital Projects Committee. All change orders will be reported at the next scheduled board meeting. And a resolution has been included for your consideration.
Any questions for Mr. Gates? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Brooks, can you do a vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Resolution passes. Third resolution, a resolution authorizing the award of a contract, WSA C24022, for construction services required for the Spruce Run Reservoir Resource Preservation Foundation Grouting Project, Clinton Township, Town of Clinton, and Union Township, Hunterdon County, New Jersey. Mr. Brooks?
Steve is going to provide background there too.
As you've all heard likely before, the Spruce Run Dam was built atop a foundation of limestone that is prone to voids. The geologic characteristics were well known at the time of the dam's construction in the early 1960s, and as a result, the dam's underlying stone foundation received an extensive grouting program that is believed to have deteriorated over the intervening years. The proposed project will reestablish the effectiveness of the original grout curtain and reinforce areas where performance issues are suspected. The project consists primarily of drilling, testing, pressure grouting, and instrumentation installation. A technical review board consisting of world-renowned dam experts was convened in 2017 to review the dam's condition and conduct a potential failure mode analysis to identify credible scenarios that could result in dam failure. In 2021, the TRB asserted that changing piezometric levels in the rock foundation clearly suggests that deterioration of the original grout curtain is occurring. In September 2021, the TRB issued a report recommending the authority proceed with the development of a set of construction documents for the grouting program that were subsequently completed under a separate contract. An advertisement for contractors pre-qualification was posted on the authority's website on May 20th, 2024, and in local newspapers on May 23rd. 3 drilling and grouting contractors submitted packages and were pre-qualified for the project. The authority received authorization to advertise from the iBank on August 28th. Advertisements for bid were published on the New Jersey Business Opportunities and the authority's websites on August 30th, 2024, and in local newspapers on September 4th. A mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on September 17th, which was attended by all 3 of the pre-qualified contractors. 4 addenda were issued. 2 bids were received timely and opened at a public bid opening on November 7th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Authority staff and the engineer of record, Schnabel Engineering, have reviewed the bids and found the low bid submitted by Keller Industrial Inc. for $42,044,074.34 to be legally and technically responsive. The low bid exceeds the engineer's opinion of probable construction cost of $35,190,000 by nearly 20%, and the Capital Projects Committee was briefed on these results. It is important to note that this type of construction is highly specialized and the number of qualified contractors is relatively low. Subsequently, construction bids are subject to factors outside the planning and estimating horizon of the owner and engineer, including contractor availability and current project load, market conditions, and requirements imposed by outside financing and funding sources. This project is being financed by the NJI Bank with additional funding through the Federal Emergency Management Agency Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant Program, or the BRIC grant program. The BRIC funding will cover approximately 70% of the total project cost, not to exceed $22,571,166.63, and that includes administrative management costs. Additionally, included in this resolution is a request for modification of the existing bylaw specific to this project to benefit the executive director's ability to manage the subject contract in a more timely and prudent manner. Similar to the UST project, this resolution asks that the threshold for requiring board approval for change orders be increased, in this case, from $25,000 to $100,000, providing staff receives approval from the three-member Capital Projects Committee. In conclusion, authority staff and the engineer of record, Schnabel Engineering, recommend the award of a construction contract to Keller Industrial, Inc. of Rockaway, New Jersey, for a lump sum and unit cost price not to exceed $42,044,074.34, and for an increase to the change order threshold for this specific contract to $100,000 with concurrence from the entire Capital Projects Committee. An appropriate resolution has been prepared for authority action.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Gates? All right, hearing none, I'd ask. Yeah.
I have a general, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a general question on the thresholds, really just to put it on the record. Just want to make sure that the procedure we're using for changing the thresholds has been run past the AG before we adopt any further ones.
We've done this before. It's specifically stated in the resolution. Catherine, have you've seen it? I don't know if I'm sure we ran it by you 3 years ago or so when we first did it.
Exactly. During the Round Valley project, a similar request was made of the board, and we vetted it then and thought it was approvable by the board with the consent of the board.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that on the record just so if anybody listening might be concerned.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Gates? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion and a second.
So moved. So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you. Mr. Brooks, can you call the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes,
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. The motion carries. Fourth resolution, a resolution authorizing the purchase of one new PowerTrack Model 1850 mower tractor with 90-inch finish cutting width, including attachments or functional equivalent, WSA C25004. Mr. Brooks?
Steve?
The authority uses specialized slope mowers to safely maintain the dam slopes in the Raritan Basin. These mowers have a low center of gravity and a wide footprint that allows them to traverse slopes up to 45% grade. Slope mowers are an integral part of maintaining the slopes of the 4 large high-hazard earthen embankment dams that the authority operates in Clinton. Appropriate mowing is important to ensure adequate visibility for inspection and to prevent the establishment of brush and woody growth that can damage the embankment. The PowerTrack mowers the authority is currently using have proven to be reliable, safe, and effective on the steep dam slopes. Advertisements for bids were published in local newspapers on October 10th and 11th, 2024. Advertisements were also posted on the New Jersey Business Opportunities and the authority websites. One bid was timely received and opened at a public bid opening on October 23rd. The low bid of $86,375 from Hoffman International was reviewed by authority staff and found to be legally and technically responsive. The current budget fiscal year 2025 includes a PowerTrack slope mower to be procured for $80,000. The difference in price between the budgeted amount and the bid amount is attributed to inflation. To account for the increased cost of the approved FY 2025 PowerTrack, the authority proposes to utilize unused funds from other under-budget capital equipment items. Authority staff recommends that the bid submitted by Hoffman International of Piscataway, New Jersey be accepted and a purchase order executed by the executive director for a lump sum amount of $86,375. An appropriate resolution has been prepared for your consideration.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Gates? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion in a second.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, can you call the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
Yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Motion passes. Next resolution, a resolution ratifying the actions of the executive director in executing a contract required for emergency procurement for an algicide application using chelated copper at the Manasquan Reservoir in Howell Township, Monmouth County, New Jersey, WSA C25022M. Mr. Brooks?
Ken Clipstein provide that background?
On the morning of Tuesday, October 22nd, operations staff observed a significant algal bloom at the Manasquan Reservoir surrounding the intake tower. When staff from the watershed office arrived to take in situ readings and grab samples for identification and toxic analysis, the visible bloom had intensified. While October algal blooms have been a regular occurrence at Manasquan Reservoir, the difference in this situation was more concerning because the record dry condition, unseasonably warm temperature, and lack of significant forecasted rain limited the authority's ability to switch sources to solely water. Authority staff believed that while the Manasquan water treatment plant was likely capable of handling the load of cyanobacteria and potential cyanotoxins at that time, additional urgent action to mitigate the bloom in the reservoir was warranted. The staff consensus was that an immediate copper treatment should be applied. A chelated copper product was recommended because it would provide extended release of active ingredients, resulting in a longer-term benefit under observed water quality conditions. On October 24th, 2024, the executive director, with the approval of the Capital Projects Committee, initiated an emergency procurement to perform an immediate application of chelated copper to the Manasquan Reservoir. The chelated copper application was completed on October 30th, 2024. The resolution before you ratifies the action of the executive director to execute an emergency contract with the lake management firm Tigris to perform a chelated copper application to the Manasquan Reservoir for a contract amount of $92,000.
Any questions for Mr. Clipstein? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Brooks, can you call the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
Yes.
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Next resolution, a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to conduct annual fiscal audit for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2025. Mr. Brooks?
Commissioner Pico is the chair of the audit committee. Are you able to present on that, Steve?
Yep. This is the fourth cycle in the current contract for Mercadian Group. According to the applicable executive orders and the New Jersey bidding statutes, we rebid annually. This round, bids were put out in local newspapers and on our website. We had 2 responses to the bids. The three members of the audit committee, acting as the bid review committee, reviewed the bids and determined that Mercadian Group was the most qualified bidder. Their bid, which represents a 3% increase over their previous year's bid, was determined to be reasonable, and the audit committee unanimously recommends that this resolution before you be passed.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Pico? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, can you call for the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes,
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Resolution passes. Next resolution, a resolution approving the annual report of the New Jersey Water Supply Authority for 2024. Mr. Brooks?
Susan Buckley is providing background.
Good afternoon. The authority publishes its annual report each year in compliance with the authority's established enabling legislation and Executive Order 37. A draft copy of the annual report with all required elements has been included in your board packages. Upon board approval, the annual report will be posted on the authority's website and notice will be sent to required parties. The authority recommends approval of the annual report. A resolution has been prepared for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions for Ms. Buckley? Hearing none, I entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
second and a second. Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Brooks, the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes,
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Next resolution, a resolution authorizing change order number 71, construction contract for Round Valley Reservoir Structures Refurbishment and Resource Preservation Project, Earthen Dam Rehabilitation and Ancillary Work, Clinton Township, Hunterdon County, New Jersey, WSA C19030. Mr. Brooks?
Steve Gates, background.
The authority is seeking board approval for change order request number 71 in a unit price amount of $61,065 for increased tonnage of asphalt placed at the direction of the authority and its consultant due to a scope modification to address a changed field condition. This change order is for the dike at the Round Valley project, but the condition existed at all three dams. The additional asphalt was placed at the competitively bid unit price in the contract, and the change order is simply for additional material quantity. Similar asphalt change orders, number 64 for the North Dam paving and number 69 for the South Dam paving, were previously approved by the Capital Projects Committee. Due to the duration of the project, the disjointed timing of the paving, and delays in obtaining the additional quantities from the contractor, these change orders were submitted individually. Although individually below the $100,000 threshold requiring full board approval, it was not the intent to circumvent that process, and the aggregate of the three paving change orders is above the threshold, resulting in this submittal for full board approval. An appropriate resolution has been prepared for your consideration.
Any questions for Mr. Gates? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
second,
Okay, Mr. Brooks, the vote?
Acting Chair Domber,
Yes.
Commissioner Blue,
yes,
Commissioner Havens,
Yes.
Commissioner Iaculo,
Yes.
Commissioner Pico.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. I believe that was the last resolution. Moving on to agenda item number 9. Mr. Brooks, any committee reports to share?
I'll just share that we did brief the Capital Projects Committee on November 22nd virtually on the Spruce Run grouting project.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 10, public comment. If anybody has a comment, we would ask that you state your name and your affiliation for the record. Do we have any public comments? I'm not hearing any, but we'll give it another couple of seconds to make sure people are off mute. Okay, hearing none. Executive session. Do we have a need for an executive session this time?
No, sir.
No. Okay, all right. So no executive session required. And I believe that comes to the end of our meeting. I'd entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? No. All right. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.
Everyone had a
Thank you.
great holiday.
Thank you.